Hi, I'm Jamila, personal development coach and founder at Till Training and Consulting. And I just wanted to jump on and do a really quick video today just to talk about one of the really kind of a lot less spoken about areas of employability. I just want to say at this point that one of the things that I'm really trying to do when it comes to employability is really share knowledge and talk about some of the nuances of employment and workplace culture, some of the things that we don't always think about and don't therefore always prepare for before going into the workplace. So what I want to talk to you about today is self-management and self-management as a professional. Now, as I mentioned, this is to me one of the things that does not get spoken about enough, and therefore you can't really prepare for it enough because you're not aware of it until you're actually in the situation where you're at work and there are certain things expected of you and it kind of takes you by surprise. So self-management as a professional is all about you taking ownership of yourself, your behavior, ensuring that you're fulfilling your duties and responsibilities as an employee. When you're at work, and when you're at work for the first time, and if I can cast my mind back to when I experienced employment for the first time, I think the biggest shocker is that you do not have somebody making sure that you fulfill a task that has been set. So when you go into the workplace, you're expected to do things, you're expected to complete things, but you have nobody watching over you to make sure that the things are happening, right? So it's a big transition from school, because school is very different in the sense that you have your teachers there, you know, they're almost holding your hand along the way to make sure that you're getting the things completed on time. So your tasks, or your homework, or, you know, whatever piece of work has been set for you, they are making sure that you're completing that. You get check-ins with your teacher to make sure that's happening. There's a lot of explaining there to give context, to make sure you understand in order for you to get the marks that you need to get. You know, once your work, your essay, your assignment, your exam has been complete. So there's a lot of support that you receive in the workplace, in school. In the workplace, however, it's a very, very different situation. And we're going to look at some things that you can do when we think about self-management to help you get through that, to help you navigate that. And for those of you that are not actually in work just yet, and like I said, for those of you that are preparing to go into work, this is about how you understand what self-management looks like. So again, the concept of self-management is really about us as individuals taking responsibility for our time, our actions, and our results. And some of the ways that we can do this, firstly, is by being organized. So whenever you start a job, and I would say this regardless of where you are on your employability journey, if you have just landed a job, if you're preparing to have a job, if you're watching this and you're somebody who's already experienced in the world of work, have a notepad. Always make sure you have a notepad and a pen. Write yourself a to-do list so that you've got something to refer to and something to help you stay on track throughout the day when you're completing the tasks that have been set. Being organised can also involve making sure that you're prepared from the night before. So packing your bag, making sure before you leave the office or before you leave your place of work, when your day has finished, that you're making sure you've got a list of the things that you need to come in and do the following day. And then also making sure that you arrive on time. So leaving home on time to arrive to work 15 minutes early, ready to start the day. So another big one is using your initiative or being proactive. This is something that I think catches us, especially when we're young and we're starting out and it's our first job, like we've spoke about. It's easy for you to complete a task and then wait for somebody to give you more work or wait for a new task, which is what would happen in the school setting. In the school setting, you get a set amount of time to complete a task And the idea is that you would get it completed during that time. And if you haven't, obviously the teacher is trying to find out why. And as we said, there's some additional support that's available to you to get you there so that you're not holding the class up. In the workplace, it's different. Things are moving very quickly all the time, especially if you're in a fast-paced environment. And it would be easy and is easy, depending on where you work, to complete a task and then to kind of sit and wait. But it doesn't look good for you. So it's an unprofessional look. It doesn't bode well for your progression in the department, in the organisation. Your manager wants to see that you can be proactive and that you can ask for additional work to do. Your manager might want to know about the success of the work that you have been dealing with. So how successful were you in achieving that? What were the problems that you came up with? Your manager might want to discuss this with you so that you can move forward with rectifying maybe some of the challenges or issues that came up. Essentially, what you're showing by being proactive is that you're enthusiastic. You're enthusiastic about the work that you were set to do, about the bigger task, which you'll probably be working towards as part of a team. You're asking what I can do next. You're asking, are there any other problems to solve? You're showing how much that you want to be there, and you're also showing that you don't need to be reminded to take on more work and to show that initiative. So the next point is all about accountability, and accountability is just considering ownership. So you're thinking about, in this situation, in the workplace setting, if you get a task and you've completed the task successfully, then you take accountability and ownership of that success. On the flip side, if you are given a task and you don't complete that task successfully, you also take ownership and accountability for that, and use that as an opportunity to think about your development and the things that you could learn, and maybe the things that you could do differently if you were given the opportunity to do the same task the next time. Emotional regulation and your ability to stay calm is also crucial when it comes to self-management. Which is kind of just pointing out the obvious. So making sure that you are not snapping, you're not freezing when things go wrong, you are staying calm under pressure, and just not having any negative behaviors that might bring down the mood or have a negative impact on the team that you're working with in general is going to serve you well. Making sure that you're always on top of how you're feeling. And like I mentioned in one of the previous videos, if there is a time where any negative feelings come up, that you're kind of finding the right time and place to address and acknowledge those. So an analogy that we can use to help us embed our understanding of self-management is us or you being the captain of your ship. So what that looks like in the workplace is having a manager that is telling you the destination. So they're saying to you, right, we're at point A now, we want to be at point Z in 4 weeks' time, in 6 weeks' time. And then you being the captain of the ship is the one that steers the ship, that checks the map, that makes sure everything is running smoothly in order to get to that destination that the manager wants to meet you at. This is also another way to think about your executive functions, and your executive functions are all about your ability to make decisions and set goals. So yes, your manager has set you that destination as the final goal, but you can make smaller, shorter, more bite-sized goals, which we spoke about in one of the previous videos, to help you every step of the way get towards the final destination that your manager has set for you. Self-management is an essential skill, and it plays a critical role in your productivity in the workplace. And not only that, in your personal life, it's really good for creating balance and helps you to grow. Try making sure when thinking about your employability that you are prioritizing self-management. And one of the things you can do from now is start putting small things in place, small practical steps in place that you can do to help build your confidence in having self-management. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.